Now it's funny, Sharon mentioned, Jeffrey, and I always say, gee, we're in a unique situation. I know a lot of us, I guess you'd call us kids, from that first generation, the mentality, thought, certain things, especially when you're involved in basketball. I wanted to ask you, what was that like for you to go to Houston? You were very highly touted out of high school. You go to Houston and you team up also with, Moses Malone Jr. And you're playing for Clyde. And then you mentioned you got Calvin, you got Moses, you got all these people coming to the games. Mentality wise, honestly, when you're going to college, did you feel, just asking, I don't know, in that situation, did you feel any kind of pressure, or what was that like, for you being a kid around, almost, let's be honest, NBA like atmosphere, especially in a big city like Houston?
I feel like, I tell a lot of people all the time, when I got to Houston, I felt like I was in the pros. Because just, the way the city, is, about the game of basketball. So, I got a chance to play against the pros once. If I wasn't playing, at the school, I was playing with the pros. And then, I got a chance to hang out, with the guys, in the evening and stuff. So we go to the Roxy on Wednesdays, and I'm walking in with the pros. Like, I ain't got to do nothing. So when I was in Houston, I felt like I was a pro. And Clyde said one thing after my first year. I had a great first year at Houston, and he was like, don't feel like you owe me anything. Don't, you don't have to stay if you don't want to. And when he said that to me, I looked at him like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Of course I'm staying. Because for me, it was like a no-brainer because, the way it felt, I didn't feel like it was time to leave, and even though I did, looking back at it, guys leave after having years like that. And that was probably my best year to leave after that, knowing that they really didn't look at seniors like like they did and things like that. Mm-hmm. So me still being an underclassman and putting up those kind of numbers, I probably should have left. But for me, man, it was just, I was getting so much knowledge, from other things, from these guys and stuff, man. For me, it didn't feel like I was ready. It wasn't even a question, was I going to turn pro? I was like, true, coach, we doing this again. And so, and it did. And for me, I didn't have a bad year. We had a bad year as a team that next year, but I didn't have a bad year. And for me, I don't have any regrets, I see Clyde every weekend for the Big Three and stuff. So, we talk about it. And, it's just so crazy that, Gary Payton just got his job with the university. And it just so happened I'm talking to Clyde here, and Gary Payton walks up here, and they're kind of talking about recruiting now and things like that. And then Clyde, I just happened to be standing there, and Clyde was, mentioning Gary Payton about how I was his first recruit. And then he kind of went down the whole story of how I got there and things like that. And so, it was great for me to hear. He took about 8 minutes out of his time to explain and talk about me to Gary Payton. While Gary looking at you, while he look at you and stuff, man. So like for me, it was a good feeling, just that he took the time and stuff. So yeah, man. So it was cool, man. I'm still learning from these guys now.
Right.